Lions are certainly ready for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Some serious smack talk coming out of Allen Park here on a Friday. And we talked to Detroiter Brandon Graham, who's seen the Lions and the Packers. All of that on a Friday edition of Locked On Lions.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, everybody? Matt Dery with you. It is a Friday edition of Locked On Lions on the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making us your first listen. Friday, January 6th and a Saturday, January 7th. We're just 2 days away from Sunday Night Football. The Lions in prime time for the first time this season. Not playing at 1 o'clock. 8:20 NBC. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark for Detroit at Green Bay. And Locked On Lions today is proudly brought to you by our friends at BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. You can follow us on Twitter at Dery Speaks, D-E-R-Y. My last name Speaks, at Locked On Lions on Twitter, the Matt Dery Facebook fan page. And those of you watching on YouTube, welcome in. Thanks for watching on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Appreciate your comments on there as well, as we give you the video portion of the pod as well. Coming up on the show, one Lion went off today in the locker room. Just bashes Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if it's bulletin board material. I don't know what this is, but it's kind of refreshing that the Lions are barking a little bit. Hopefully they bite Sunday night and get a win over Aaron and the Packers. But we'll tell you about the player that went kind of got a little ticked off today in the locker room with reporters and went off on Aaron Rodgers. We'll tell you about that coming up. Jeff Okudah has had a lousy last 6-7 weeks or so. Can he bounce back? And will he be able to play Sunday night? He's got an elbow injury. We'll talk about that coming up. And Brandon Graham of the Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit native, played at Michigan, and is up for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. He's going to join me today. Later on in the show, he's seen the Lions week 1. He saw the Packers in week 13. And 13-year NFL vet Brandon Graham going to join me of the Eagles coming up momentarily as well. All right, so here we go. Final show before Sunday. We're going to have a postcast and have a post-game podcast certainly after the game Sunday night, late night. So you wake up Monday morning after the game and you're driving to work, you can be able to listen to us here at Locked On Lions. But I'm excited. I mean, this is going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully the Lions play well. Hopefully the Lions win. I mean, there's so many things in play here, of course. If you're just, I don't know, waking up from a long nap or you haven't been paying attention, I mean, the Lions have an outside shot of getting into the playoffs. And yes, there's not going to be an added 8th playoff team in either conference or anything like that. But the bottom line is that the Lions need to win Sunday night to get into the postseason and have Seattle lose to the Rams at 4:25 in Seattle. Not going to be an easy task. The Rams are really playing for nothing and have Baker Mayfield a quarterback. The Seahawks need a win to get into the playoffs and a Packers loss. So we'll see how this all goes. But regardless, if Seattle wins and the Lions are eliminated before the game Sunday night at 8:20, Lions still want this thing very badly. They want this thing very badly. They want to continue their winning ways and finish the season strong, finish with 9 wins. No one expected that. And knock the Packers out of the playoffs and sweep the Packers and finish the regular season against the NFC North at 5-1, which would be absolutely fantastic. By the way, quick shout out, Heart of a Lions fan, the movie with my guy Mike Vanderpool, and thanks to Brandon Shia, the owner and proprietor of Tea Times Golf and Bar Restaurant in Rochester Hills on Rochester Road. You've got to try this place. If you're a golf person, you've got to try Tea Times. So shout out to Mike Vanderpool, Heart of a Lions fan, the movie. Check it out wherever. I believe it's on Amazon, and just Google it and find it. And also Brandon Shia took us to lunch today and showed us around Tea Times. Place is awesome. Golf simulator, but they got food and drink. It's everything you want up on Rochester Road. All right, so today, Deshaun Elliott met with the media, said he's been feeling better, Shoulder feels good. They list him as questionable for the game on Sunday. But Deshaun Elliott was asked how great it would be if the Lions were to knock off the Packers on Sunday. Elliott said, quote, "It would mean a lot because I feel like they don't respect us." Elliott said after practice today, this from MLive.com, "Aaron Rodgers doesn't respect us. That team doesn't respect us. We shouldn't be an underdog no matter what the record says. Going out there, I think we're going to fight our asses off, play smash mouth football just because of the respect factor. Like, we all got here some way, somehow. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer." So now Elliott's going all in on Aaron Rodgers. "But I just don't respect the way he's been talking about my guys all year and the way that team views us. So we're going to go out there and prove something." Now remember, when the Rodgers and the Packers lost to the Lions earlier this year, Rodgers like, "You can't lose to that team," he said, which ticked off some of the players. Then, of course, Rodgers did an interview later in the year and said, and when the Lions were 7-7, and he was asked about playing Minnesota and Detroit with winning records, and he corrected the reporter, I think it was Lisa Salters or whomever it was, and said, they don't have a winning record. They're at 500. Elliott kept going. Asked what specifically bothered him about Rodgers, the safety said, quote, "Shoot, whatever. The way he carries himself, I don't like none of that bleep." Use the S word. "So we got to go out there and show what we can do and show who the big dog is, back up all the talking we do. We're going to go out there and do that." He kept going. "I just feel like overall as a competitor, bro, you should respect everybody in this league. And for you to say something or hear someone say some wild stuff about you or your teammates or your brothers, shoot, what are you going to do? Are you going to lay down or stand up? So we're going to go out there and stand up." End quote. All of that from Lions safety Deshaun Elliott torching Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Look, Taylor Decker's made comments, bunch of guys. James Houston talked today about it. There's plenty of guys in the Lions that don't like Aaron Rodgers. All right. Now, I know what some people are going to say. Don't poke the bear. Rodgers always wins in December and January against the Lions. The Lions are going to find a way to SOL this thing. There's so many different ways of looking at it. But the Lions, for the most part this year, have backed up their talk. They're 8-8. This is not Deshaun Elliott at 4-11 or 4-12 smack talking. The Lions have backed it up. They have played very well since the 1-6 start. And they have a chance to finish over 500. And I even heard Mike Valenti say today on the ticket, he thinks the Lions are the favorites to win the division next year. Now you got to back this up, though, Deshaun. And let's hope the Lions do that. But they don't like Aaron Rodgers. They don't appreciate what he's done. Now you got to go out there. You got to hit him. You got to knock him around a little bit. You got to pick him off. Got to win the turnover battle like they did in the earlier game at Ford Field when they picked him off 3 times and stifled him in the red zone. Now it's about backing it up. Can the Lions back them up or back up this talk and win at Lambeau Sunday night? It's going to be difficult. And I know yesterday many of you didn't like my prediction on the crossover episode where I picked the Packers to win in a close game, maybe on a Mason Crosby field goal. It's not my job to pick the Lions every week, folks. If I think they're going to win, I'm going to tell you. If I think they're going to lose, I'm going to tell you. I hope I'm wrong. I've said all week, I'm concerned about the officiating. I'm concerned about ticky-tack fouls going against the Lions on the road under the lights when we all know the league would love to see Aaron Rodgers advance into the playoffs. He's one of their meal tickets. Jeff Okudah in the news. We'll explain coming up next right here on a Friday edition of Locked On Lions. But first, let's tell you about our good friends at PrizePicks and at the PrizePicks app. Daily fantasy that is so much fun, and you can do it even if the NFL is not going on. NBA, NHL, college basketball. Tomorrow, Michigan State. You can play at PrizePicks. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. So you could take Hunter Dickinson tomorrow, plus or minus whatever the projection is. It could be 18 points, something like that. Malik Hall, 12 points, whatever it is. No competing against other people, it's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks is the best. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It is that easy. Just download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKEDON. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, they'll give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. Brandon Graham of the Philadelphia Eagles, a Detroit native, is going to join us momentarily here on Locked On Lions, talk about a charity that he is playing for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. Also give a little preview to Lions Packers as well. Jeffrey Okudah has struggled. All right, the Lions cornerback, the third-year cornerback, who seemed to have figured it out in the first half of the year, played very well, and we were all lauding him. Man, Okudah's playing great. It looks like the Lions have got their number one corner now, the guy that was the number 3 overall pick a couple years ago. It looked like Okudah was ready to rock and playing great the first half of the year. Don't mind a little sip here of my cherry limeade water. Jeff Okudah, since week 11, is one of the top 5 lowest graded cornerbacks in the entire NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. He was even benched last week and only played 17 snaps in the win over the Bears. Dan Campbell said Jeff's going to be okay. They just wanted to see more of Mike Hughes. I'm not saying this is the make or break game for Okudah on Sunday, but like if he's getting better and playing better and is going to perform, this is the ultimate stage. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Cobb, and these Packer receivers. This is going to be a good test for Okudah. The question is, will he be on the field? Because the Lions injury report came out today, and he's listed as questionable for the game with an elbow injury. Now, questionable normally means and usually means the player plays. Sean Elliott is questionable. You know he's not going to miss this game, which is huge for the Lions defense. But Okudah, I mean, you're talking about going into a game against a Hall of Fame quarterback where you've got a very questionable Amani Oruwariye is kind of your 4th cornerback. You've been playing with Jerry Jacobs, Okudah, Mike Hughes. Amani really hasn't played much. But now, if anything were to happen to Will Harris is another one, excuse me. If anything were to happen to any of these guys, Okudah's going to have to go back in. Oruwariye is going to have to play. And you drafted this guy number 3, and for the first half of the year, he was great. What has happened? I don't know. I don't know if he's lost his confidence. Is it this elbow injury? Don't know. But this would be a rather big game for him to step up and play like he played earlier in the year when he held Justin Jefferson in check in Minnesota, and we all were just going crazy about how great he was playing. So keep an eye on Okudah this week on Sunday night, and whether he's out there, if he's holding his elbow. What about the people's elbow? That's a good bit. All right, we're going to talk to Brandon Graham coming up next. I'm so excited for Lions and Packers on Sunday night. I'm happy for you, the fans, too, that you're getting this game. The Lions are going to be, everybody's going to be watching the Lions. It's going to be awesome. BetOnline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. If you've gone to BetOnline, you've seen that the line has not moved all week. Packers have remained a 4.5-point favorite against the Leos. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football to basketball, World Cup, NHL, whatever it is, they got it all for you at betonline.net. If you love sports podcasts, you can find those as well at BetOnline. They're your fastest and easiest way for all of your betting info. Head to the website today, betonline.net, or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, a little special bonus here today. We're going to check in with Brandon Graham, the pride of Detroit Crockett High School, the pride of Michigan, 13 years in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. And, of course, the Lions played the Eagles. The Eagles played the Packers, Lions and Packers this Sunday. And Brandon is also up for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award and joins us today here on Locked On Lions. BG, good to see you.
Thank you for having me on your show.
How you been, man? One more regular season game to go. I know it's a long grind, but how's the body feeling?
You know what? I haven't really took a hit like some of the guys, man. I'm telling you, coming off the bench, man, it got its perks, and right now it's I'm feeling so good.
Yeah, I saw something the other day. Someone said Brandon Graham is now a rotational player. And I went, wait a minute, this guy's still getting a bunch of sacks and still playing a lot, but how tough is that to accept a role like that, I guess?
You know what? It was tough in the beginning, only because when real stuff started, you wanted to be out there more, so you could have more opportunity. But I mean, I just pretty much was like, you know what? When I come in, I'm gonna be the knockout. I'm gonna let them boys come with the knockout, and I kind of changed my thought process on it, man. And it definitely, but that first game against the Lions, it meant a lot to me playing against those Lions. I wanted to be out there. As I got through the season, I started to understand, like, man, you could do a lot, just not playing, making quality.
Tell me about what you remember about week one, and what are your thoughts on what Detroit is doing right now?
You know what? We still say that they was the best offense. They got a bunch of guys that you got to look out for. Swift, St. Brown, all them boys are really good. And then your O line is good. That's the best thing. Best O line I've seen in a long time. So I just really know that the Lions are good, and obviously they about to make this run into the playoffs, and so it's right there.
How crazy is that your hometown team is playing in week 18 in prime time? They picked the Lions to be flexed on Sunday Night Football. So I don't know. I don't think Brandon, anybody expected that at the start of the year, right?
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, especially how things was going funny like that.
What about your situation in Philly? You guys are playing tremendous football and have really been on top of the NFC all year. Jalen Hurts, the defense, everything's kind of come together. What's sort of the secret to the sauce up there?
Togetherness, man, that we all just want to get better every day and believe in what coaches is saying. Going out there on the field, the technique, the stuff we go over and over, the turnover stuff. I mean, we talking about turnovers and us leading the league and turnovers and explosive play, great players, but we work well together, and so that's one thing I credit to us working.
Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee Brandon Graham, Pride of Detroit, is with us, and of course played for the Michigan Wolverines. Now in his 13th year with the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, so Lions and Packers are playing this weekend, and you played both teams. Give us a scouting report, and who do you think the better team is?
Ran the ball on the Packers a lot, and the way the Lions play, it's gonna be a close one because they know each other. They play each other all the time. It's me looking at that game. It's gonna come down in the trenches. It's gonna be in the trenches, and I'm gonna bet my bottom dollar on them Lions because they hungry. They ready to show that they belong, in these playoffs. And I really game for them as far as solidifying that they got a run game.
There's a couple of pretty good Michigan pass rushers in this NFL, aren't there? Yourself and now Aiden Hutchinson. You ever talk to him and what? Yeah, what do you think?
Man, I'm telling you, he's next up. That's what I tell him all the time. Because Bar was together during the pandemic, and then a couple other times during the office. Said Aiden is big, and I never knew until I started working out with him how big. I'm just like, man, I'm just happy for him because everything is coming together for him. He got 3 interceptions too at that. I'm just excited to see how his career go when he get a real year and how he finishes the season this year.
Yeah, an edge rusher getting all these picks. Brandon, what's up with that? Is that how many career interceptions do you have? Come on now.
I have none, 0, but I have a touchdown. I'm humble.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. I do remember that. All right, Walter Payton Man of the Year. Now here's the thing. Rod and Laton Odin, Team Odin, hit me up, the Odin group, and I know that's where you want to have the money go if you win to the charity. But they hit me up and they're like, you got to have Brandon on your show. Now, it's a Lions show. Jared Goff, I'm supposed to be shilling for, but as a Detroit guy, how do we get involved and make sure that if Jared Goff doesn't win, that you do?
You know what? You just got to keep being you. Keep making sure that the whole process, whoever's supposed to win gonna win. I just know for me, I was getting votes and doing the best that I can on that part, and I hope he do their best during this time. And it is a lot to do sometimes. Want it? I mean, you just gotta don't get to the finish line and stop running.
So you use the hashtag on Twitter and on social media, WPMOY, Walter Payton Man of the Year Challenge, and then write Graham afterwards for Brandon. And if you win a charity of your choice, which turns out to be the Odin Group, we'll get a pretty big chunk of change. How much? And tell us a little bit about what Rod and Laton Odin do.
I mean, it's life-changing money as far as, for 150,000, and I'm sure it's probably a little more, but I think that what he's doing, taking the kids always out of town, needing funding of it, and I think this is a great start to get to some camps that you couldn't get to, probably do some things that you probably never had a chance to. So I'm excited. I'm excited all his players and whoever else that he chooses to bless with the money.
Rod was your high school coach. He's now at Harper Woods. Obviously, his son, very good player too, and Jacob Odin is looking at some big-time schools, including your alma mater of Michigan. What does it mean to kind of give back to a coach that gave to you when you were younger?
Man, it's love to be able to have something come full circle like this, because he know what it took me get to a place that I wanted to get to. He was a stepping stone in the journey. I'm always being indebted to him because of some of our conversations, a lot of love that he family and myself all over these years, and the same and vice versa. And so it's just been, man, anything that I could do to help him, I'm always into it because I know it's always been there, and it's always good to be able to take care of somebody and take them the worry that you have. What every day brings.
Brandon Graham with us from the Philadelphia Eagles. One more thing, you calling up Aiden Hutchinson this week and giving him some tips on how to get to Aaron Rodgers. You've sacked Aaron Rodgers in your day. Earlier this year, you got a half a sack against him in that Sunday night game. What's the secret to getting to number 12?
You better get there fast, because as soon as he don't get I'll be right there, because that boy can extend the pocket. He's really good at moving in the pocket. I mean, he's been top tier for a long time, and the Lions is hungry, and Aaron Rodgers better watch out, because Aiden Hutchinson is that warpath right now.
How many more years for you? How much longer do you want to play? Because that's pretty remarkable to be in the league this long and have the success that you've had.
You know what? 15 is always wanted to do. And so I can see the light, especially at, letting it happen, making it a year-to-year thing, because I know for me, 1 year differently than what you expected. And so I just know for me this year has been enjoying it with my teammates, just trying to get through it and make sure that I can get. Plus is something that I can see and I would love to do.
Detroiters would love to see you get another Super Bowl, and Darius Slay, another former Lion. I know you like playing with big play Slay. I can see your face light up.
Hey, it definitely helps with taking away there.
No question about it. Brandon, appreciate your time. We got to let everybody know again. Go on Twitter, use the hashtag WP, Walter Payton, WPMOY challenge, and then put Graham after that. And get Brandon Graham some votes, man. Detroiter, always giving back to the community. And he's chosen the Odin Group, a local crew here with Rod and Latan Odin. That if he wins the Walter Payton Man of the Year, they're going to get $250,000 for their charity to help some kids, certainly in the community, and a lot of athletes get to camps, football camps, etc. All provided by Mr. Brandon Graham. BG, great to see you. Thanks so much
for having me. And man, I like your podcast, man. I like how you run things on this thing.
we'll get you back on, man. If the Lions, if the Eagles, if you guys make a run to the Super Bowl, we'll get you back on for sure.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, man. You have a good night.
You got it. There he is, Brandon Graham, with us here on Locked On Lions, this special Friday edition.